Hello and welcome to this last film on the series related to handling objections, and in particular using the acrostic sleep. I want to use the last letter in that acrostic, the letter P, to talk about psychology. And in attempting to communicate the gospel to people, we find that some people are quite aggressive and they can try and dismiss you and almost ridicule you by saying, oh, well, all religion is just a crutch, it's just for you weak people who need to invent some kind of God for your own personal comfort. In fact, there's a famous saying by Karl Marx that religion is the opium of the people. In other words, it's a sedative to try and actually make people feel better. And, there's this idea that I've faced very often, that you just have invented God in your own image. And the whole religious menagerie is a mere invention of human beings. And how do we address this? Now, one of the things that I recommend is this issue of psychology. And my understanding is that the atheist, the one who denies the reality of Christ and the witness of the church, the atheist has fled to the imaginary world where God does not exist. That there is much more evidence for God than there is against him. And in that regard, we have a great power of testimony, and that psychology teaches people, it teaches us all, that people repress or suppress the thing that they fear the most. And if there is a almighty, all-knowing, all-wise, all-powerful God who is of the utmost of holiness, who threatens human nature with judgment, that understands every part of our own personal compromise and the way in which we've failed to even meet our own standards of what is right and wrong, that we who would often in the face of others be self-condemned, how would we want to face this holy God? No. In fact, most of us would flee. And in fact, the place of those that deny the reality of God, the reality of the promise of eternal life, the reality of heaven or hell, that these people have fled to an imaginary world where God does not exist. And in this regard, I think we can be very forthright and to not apologize about the biblical worldview and how it portrays human beings in a very big dilemma, that there is the absolute holiness of God, and then there is the brokenness of human nature. And how is it that we can face a holy God? Well, there is good news, and there is the gospel. And it's not a therapy of psychology or the therapy of a Santa Claus type God, but it's the truth that is inherent in the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so I recommend this to you. Human nature, does it not lend itself to the saying is red, that all of nature is red tooth and claw? And if we are left to the mere elements, or left to the judgment of God, we're in grave danger. No, we need an intervention of grace. And what I want to do in communicating the gospel, and what I'm hoping that you would like to do, is to demonstrate to other people the opportunity of intervention, that God has intervened in a cruel world, in a dangerous world, and in a world where human beings are subject to judgment. And as a consequence now, there is good news. And so this is a good springboard by which we might continue a conversation with people who are outside the Christian faith. So I thank you for watching The Evangelist, and trust that you will subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also to us on Facebook, and trust that you and your witness will continue to grow and be strengthened by God's grace. Thanks for watching.